Hey y'all, coming to you from Griffey's Hot Rods and Restorations, and he's got a 1940 Ford convertible street rod that he's done. That's just one cool car, and he invited me out here today so we could shoot some video of it. So let me run Larry down and we'll take a look at this one. Be right back. Larry, how are you, brother?
Doing good, Scotty. How you doing?
Not too bad. Tell me a little bit about this hot rod.
Okay, this is a little 40 Ford convertible that we've had the opportunity to build for a customer over in North Carolina, a gentleman by the name of Odell Wilson. And for those of you who are automotive enthusiasts and that sort of thing, and never kept up with NASCAR racing, Odell's brother, Waddell Wilson, was the famed engine builder that built lots of NASCAR engines back in the 70s and 80s and up into the 90s.
Wow, how cool is that?
He was an engine builder for Larry Pearson, various ones. So, and Odell, the one that owns the car, he raced go-karts as well as run drag cars back in the 60s and 70s as well. So they come from a big automotive background family.
Did he build the motor for this car?
They went through it and checked it. Yeah,
right.
It was a LS1 motor, and they downed everything and checked everything on it, and did go through check everything.
Now, did they build Ford motors or Chevy motors?
They were doing Fords and Chevys at
right.
different times. When he was running with Waltrip, he was doing Chevrolets, I think. When he was running with Pearson, I think they were doing Fords at that time.
Okay. How'd you come up and meet him?
Well, I've got several customers that I've had the opportunity of doing work for over in North Carolina around the Winston-Salem area, and he's from King, North Carolina, Odell is, and Paul Hawkins and Teddy Hayes and several of those boys over there I've known for 30 years. I did a car for Paul 30 years ago, and then I've done another one for him since then, and then I did one for Teddy, and these guys all run around together. They run together at all the rod runs. There's about 6 or 7 of these guys that are always together, and I've had the opportunity to work on quite a few of them's cars and build them for them. And
have you built any other cars for him?
I have done another car for this gentleman. I did a 32 Ford sedan that we changed a complete chassis out from under it and made a highboy, and it was a highboy style car, but we put a more up-to-date chassis underneath it and rechassied the whole car for him and so forth. And then after we did that, we got back and did the 40.
Okay. Tell me a little bit. Tell me what you've done to this one.
Well, this car's got a lot of updates and a lot of modifications that are different than an original 40. The biggest one that most people would notice right off the bat would be the windshield. A 40 Ford convertible has a windshield body section that comes right straight down. It was made into the cowl, and it came all the way up to the top of the windshield. And actually there was 2 separate pieces of glass in here that sat on in rubber and had a stainless trim around them, and this body piece was about that wide. And it gave it a very narrow and tall and bulky look to it. We were trying to figure a way to, to get a lower look and a better look, and like everybody hot rodding, we're looking to get a different look to it.
Right.
So we decided to take that out, and we had a one-piece windshield bent for it.
Wow.
But we also moved, normally we changed all this body mold right here, this reveal, and let all this windshield post and reveal roll over into the windshield opening and put the windshield in from behind like a Chevrolet windshield goes in, with a little bitty small seal around it. So that's one of the main things. And then of course we took normally a 40 has transmission stands that stand up here that were kind of ugly looking, and we did a specialty windshield wipers conversion with a cable driven windshield wiper motor and put all that on it. We did not cut the windshield post down in half. We technically did not chop it.
Yeah, it looks chopped.
Even though it gives it that look by taking that out of the center and making it so much wider. Now, we did take the top bows, and there's been a bunch cut out of these top bows. We laid this bow forward to get a better angle on the back of the top here, and we did that in conjunction. Steve Holcomb at Pro Auto Interiors did the interior and the top, and he would come down to the shop and we'd figure out what we needed to do to get the look for the top that we wanted to have for it to kind of get the bulkiness. A 40 Ford, the top normally came way up here to a bow and back down, and it just didn't have the kind of shape we wanted.
Right.
So we reshaped all of those and got those all ready, and then when Steve did the interior, he put the top on, made it fit to that configuration.
So you massaged it a little.
Yeah, a lot. And then another obvious thing that a 40 Ford convertible normally has is vent windows. And we took the vent windows out of this car, and as you can see, this one you see down. Now let me show you on this side what it looks like up. you have no vent window. You have a stainless steel frame that goes all around
Oh,
the
wow.
window. And we actually took 39s, used those, and we took and made, did 2 of them. Cut them and put them together, so I actually used 2 different sets and put them together.
Did you have to cut that window or reshape that window?
We cut all new windows, yeah. It's
Oh,
got all
okay.
new glass, had all new tinted smoke glass cut for it.
So that's not tint on the window. Those are
No,
actually
those are
tinted
smoke
glass.
windows.
Yeah.
And actually, this convertible, another thing unique on the top, normally a 40 Ford has a window, about that big. It's hard for you to vision, but
Right.
it's not very big. And we put a bigger late model curved glass in the back of that top. If you look at that, that's not a
Yeah,
flat piece, and that's
yeah.
not a piece of plastic. It's a piece
Piece of glass.
It's a convertible top back window out of a late model convertible
Wow.
that Steve incorporated into this top.
Well, there's got to be a ton of money just to have all that custom glass made.
Just a few dollars.
Yeah. I mean, what company does that?
Well, there's the one that did, Jeffrey's Auto Glass did the windshield out in California for us. And the flat glass I can get done locally. The curved glass you can get done, you can buy it. The back glass being curved, you can buy for a new car.
Right.
But
Now, how did they do that front window without having a car? Did you send them all the dimensions
we
and the
made
curve?
a pattern. We did an aluminum pattern to the shape that we had it. We tried to keep everything and keep the angles right and everything, and we actually made a piece of 3/16 aluminum with a brace all the way across it to hold it in shape, and had it sitting in the car fitted, and then we packaged it up and sent it to California.
Wow.
And they checked their windshield and cut their windshield to fit it and the curve of it and so forth. And it was pretty close. We had to do a little bit of modifying around, but it was pretty good.
Right. These doors are different too.
Yes, we shaved the door handles off, got rid of the hinges. The hinges are inboard on it now.
Oh, they'd have been outboard
Yeah,
before.
normally 40 Ford has outboard hinges. We put the hinges inboard.
You straighten that gap up down at the bottom.
Yes, on this one, a 40 Ford originally has about 1.25 inch gap down here between the running board. Most people that are not familiar with these cars don't notice it, but if you ever slick one up and really get one, particularly in a lighter color, there's a big gap all the way down here. We added about 1 inch to the bottom of this door and closed that gap up to about 1/4 instead of about 1 inch. We did the same on the quarter panels. We added on to the quarter panels, and then we added on to all the running boards, just made smooth running boards, added onto them and fitted them to the fenders, and you'll notice the fenders to the body, there are no welts. Everything is fitted
Sure
together
enough.
with a fit and no fender welt.
So
we
those are
shaved-
bolted metal to metal there?
Yeah, and they've got a little piece of thin plastic between them
Okay.
that you can't see.
Right.
We took all the trim off the side of it, welded all the holes up down the side of it. We've added on to the trunk lids and fit the gap together. Most of the 40 Fords don't fit normally very well. We fitted all the quarter panels together. We've reshaped the rear pan, brought the 2.5 inch stainless steel exhaust that we built for it all the way back, brought them through the exhaust, through the exhaust tips through the back of the pan back here.
And came out to the center. Normally it would have come out one side or the other, right?
Right, and
Yeah.
we brought them out and over and
Right.
brought them around and brought them around. And if you
Awesome.
look underneath it, it's stainless steel fuel tank and,
No, we can't see underneath
and
it. Sitting
all that
low.
good stuff under there.
Sitting on bags.
It's airbag suspension. It's a Hyatt front suspension. It is a TCI. Well, I take it back. It's a TCI chassis, not a Hyatt. It's a TCI front end on a TCI frame. Runs a 9 inch forward rear end with air ride suspension on it.
And it's got 20s on the back?
20s on the back, 17s on the front. It's 9 by 20s on the back, and 17 by 7s on the front. It has the wheelwood brakes all the way around with the vented and fluted rotors. Power windows. It has remote opening doors. I don't have the remote in my hand. I'll have to open the door to show you.
Now those headlights aren't stock either.
Yes, the headlights are 39. We use 39 Ford headlights, trying to get a little bit different look.
Right.
We like the look of the teardrop shape in a 39 Ford headlight. We thought it went with it, but we used a 40 Deluxe style grille.
Right.
Now, something else you'll notice on this car that subtle changes. Of course, the hood's welded together. Normally there's a piece of trim down through here, and it's a two-piece hood. We welded that hood together down the center. We removed the cowl vent completely.
Oh yeah.
But we also got into doing some things here. Normally a 40 Ford grille is a cast piece It's two pieces. They bolt together in the center, and these bars come around, and there's not that many bars in it. And they're perfectly straight. If you stand and look at the profile of it and the hood, you can lay a straight edge down it, it's straight.
Right.
Everything on this car is rounded.
Right.
With the exception of that. So we decided it needed to be rounded too. So we cut the hood in about 9 or 10 different places across through here, and actually laid the hood back about an inch right here, and then split it back in here and tapered it into here. Then we built a grill, and if you stand over on this side where I'm at over here, Scotty, you can shoot that and you will see the profile. This curves, starts down here and it comes out, and then it flows into the hood, and then it flows back.
Right.
And that's a stainless steel grill that we fabricated here in the shop. Kevin put a lot of hours in that works for me, and we had a machine shop here in town cut all the bars out. And
Water jet or something?
yeah,
Yeah.
cut them all out, and then we had to grind them. We cut them close, we made patterns of it, and then each one of these bars is a different curvature
Right.
as well as a difference. So we had to have a pattern
They're all
for every
individual.
bar.
Right.
And every bar had to have its own pattern, and then once we got them close, then jigged the stainless all together. Had to polish all the bars
Right.
first, and then jig it together, heliarc weld the stainless, and then we put it up there and resurfaced the outside of it to get the bars perfectly uniform, and then repolish the outside edge of it.
Whew. Well, that's a lot of work. To get something that people walk up to and they just say, something's a little different about that.
Yeah.
That's a cool car.
And then also in the grill, most people on a 44 Deluxe, whether it's a convertible, sedan, or coupe, or what, about every fourth louver or so, there is a thick piece right here. And there is a piece of the stainless trim that has the grooves in it that matches what's normally on the hood and what normally runs down the side of the hood and the doors. But it's only about 1/4 of an inch thick.
Right.
And there was normally one like right here, and one right here, maybe one right here. I can't remember if it's 3 or 4 that's normally on these, but we took those out. We cut those bars out, took another grill, did some modifying, cut those pieces and put them in. And if you look, these louvers are all graduated down through here.
Sure enough.
So we had to cut them and put them in and graduate them back to where that everything looked uniform. But if you just take the trim off of it, then you have louvers and a flat spot, and louvers and a flat spot, and louvers
Right.
and a flat spot.
That wouldn't look so good.
So we did it that way to make it. We thought that's the way they should have done it if you was going to have the trim took off of it.
Yeah, no
And that's
doubt
probably
about
how
it.
Ford would have done it had they not been putting the trim on it.
Well, that's how Ford would have done it if they would have wanted to spend 80 hours to put a grill together. But he wasn't trying to make
No.
a 6-figure street rod. Well, let's look inside, can we?
Sure we can. Tell you what, let's, you want to shoot
Other
this up
side?
the side? Yeah.
All right.
Let me open that door on this side. And like I say, it has electric remote from the exterior. You open it on a remote that they're laying over here in the shop.
Right.
I don't have them in my hands at the present time. But we have a, well, somebody's locked that one. Let's go to the other side.
All right. Well, the thing is, folks, is it's getting ready to go to a show, so they've got some things that they're working on, and so that's why that panel's missing over there on the other side. And I think that's what Larry was trying to avoid showing everybody, is that there's a panel missing out of it, but that's the bottom line. Is, like I said, it's getting ready to go to the Nationals, Street Rod Nationals. Man, that's beautiful. I love how you did that stainless steel. Steve did that, man. That's cool.
Steve did the interior on it. His guys, they did a beautiful job. They made the console. They designed the interior and fabricated the entire interior.
Wow.
Back seats match the front seats.
Right.
Small, but it matches.
Yeah, I was going to show you like the new car. There's no room for anybody back there, but it still matches.
Mm-hmm.
I love that console. That is way cool. And it's an automatic car.
Yeah. And we'll get to that here in a minute. It has a LS1, all aluminum LS1 motor. Chevrolet LS1. Air conditioning, power windows.
Power steering, power brakes.
Yep, power steering, power brakes. Aluminum radiator, polished aluminum radiator. Stainless steel polished exhaust, 2.5-inch exhaust system all the way back. All the control arms and everything under it are either polished or stainless, polished stainless or they're chrome.
Right.
And we've slicked everything underneath the hood and all the various panels under it. We've slicked just like the outside of the car and sanded and buffed all of those.
Right.
All of this pan up here was custom made, and we changed all this hood latch and put this type of hood latching assembly in it with a pull cable.
Right.
Like a late model.
Otherwise it would open from the front.
Yeah, in this bar that went up here originally, you pulled a handle and this all opened.
Oh, okay.
And when you eliminated all that, then we did this. This is a late model German type latch that we used in that.
Cool.
Gas shocks to hold the hood up, that sort of thing.
Right. Have you dynoed it? You know what kind of horsepower it's turning out?
It's running somewhere. We haven't put it on a dyno, but it ought to put out somewhere around 370, something like that. It's got a little hotter coil in it, and it's got headers on it. But it's basically a stock LS1 like would come out of a 98, 99 Corvette.
Oh, okay.
Basically what it is. Has a 4L60 automatic transmission, 9-inch forward rear end.
So that's got overdrive?
Yeah, it's overdrive, sure is. Yeah.
That's cool. Well, shut it up if you don't mind. Let me do a walk around on it. There's a lot to tell about this car. Did you change those running boards?
Yeah, the running boards originally on the 44, the running boards were rubber covered.
Right.
And we made smooth steel ones and slicked them all and added on to them to make them fit to cover the distance that the rubber normally took up.
And I know this is a silly question, but instead of adding all that to the door and to the rear quarter panel, you couldn't just raise the running board up?
Well, no, the way the body was made, the body set down there. It actually had a step in it. So if you did that, then you're getting the fenders higher, which gets away from what you're trying to do,
I got
which is get the vehicle to look lower.
Right, I got you.
And of course, we also added on in other places too. We added on to all of the doors, all the door gaps to close all the door gaps up. Added on to all the trunk to help to close the trunk lid up. Slicked all the underneath side of the trunk lid is slicked and painted and detailed slick, just like the outside of the car.
How long did it take to do this project?
This was a project that started several years ago, and I guess from the time we really got on it hard here, we had it about 2 years, working on it off and on, about 2.5 years. We actually painted this car once several years ago for him. We painted it guards red, but it didn't have any of these body modifications. We took the trim off the side of it at that time, and it was on an original 40 Ford frame that had a Mustang 2 front end under it and a 9-inch Ford. He had bought the car.
Right.
And then he took it home. We painted it, assembled the stuff back together that we were going to do, and it was ready for wiring and various different stuff. And then he just never was quite pleased with what he had. He wanted it to be more. He wanted it to set lower. He wanted better suspension. He wanted this and that and another. And after a period of years, he decided, I'm going to bring it back to you, and I want to change the chassis. And we bought the TCI chassis. And then we got into doing all of these drastic body modifications and actually repainted the whole car again. Stripped it and repainted it. So over the years, there's been a lot of different things done to it. But
Right.
the last rebuild when he brought it back was about 3 years ago. And it's been done about a year. We had it at Louisville last year at the Street Rod Nationals, and it won a pros pick there, and it won top 25 at the Shades of the Past, and it won a top 10 at the Good Guys Nashville Nationals in Nashville, Tennessee, and it's going back to Louisville this year to be in the Builder's Showcase.
Would have it had a front bumper on it?
Originally, 40 Ford had a front bumper, yes it did, along with a rear bumper. Normally there's holes right here in these fenders,
Right.
and there's a grommet, and fender braces come through, and the bumper sets out about right here.
Right.
We eliminated all of
Yeah, I
that.
don't blame you there, but yeah. Huh. Wow, that is just one cool street rod. That is just beautiful. Well, Larry, as always, you know how much I appreciate you letting me come out here and shoot these cool cars of yours.
Well, thank you, Scotty. We appreciate you coming out.
I mean,
The pictures for
and the thing is that, you know, when I first met Larry about a year ago, was on this orange and gray pickup truck, and he started to tell me about all the metal work that had been done to it. And a lot of, you know what I'm saying, he walks a mile sometimes to get 2 feet. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he puts so much effort into something just to change something, like I said, that most people walk up to and they just be like, well, that's a really bad street rod, but they wouldn't know all the work that's gone into making this hood, for example. And there's, I mean, you're not going to see a seam. You'll never see anywhere any of that type of work was done. No hint of any work ever being done on it. So, I mean, like I said, you know, you see these cars and they're very appealing to the eye, but, you know, I think it's always cool to be able to come out here and talk to the owner or the builder and see exactly all the work that's been done to it and hear the story of what had to be done to get there. And it gives you a real appreciation for these street rods. So hope you all have enjoyed it. I think this is a very, very cool car. I couldn't wait to shoot it, to bring it to you. So anyways, y'all have a good day. Thanks so much.